Ms. Granger.
Mr. Chairman, I have an amendment at the desk.
Clerk will report.
Amendment offered by Ms. Granger. At the appropriate place in the report, insert the following. Joint Strike Fighter. The committee remains committed to the success of the F-35 Joint Strike Fighter program. The recommendation provides funding for the procurement of 32 Joint Strike Fighter aircraft, the same as the President's request.
Without objection, the reading is dispensed with. The gentlelady is recognized.
Mr. Chairman, the Joint Strike Fighter is vital to our national security. It's unique, and it's supported by the Air Force, the Navy, and the Marine Corps. This amendment simply reaffirms our commitment to this program. I've repeatedly asked our senior defense officials how important the Joint Strike Fighter is to our future defense. Their answers have been consistent and unified in saying that it is critical. Defense Secretary Gates said the Joint Strike Fighter will do everything the military services need it to do and become the backbone of the U.S. air combat for the next generation. Commandant of the Marine Corps, General Amos, has repeatedly testified that the Joint Strike Fighter is critical to the Marine Corps. He said the JSF is the centerpiece of Marine Corps aviation modernization, and he is so committed to the Joint Strike Fighter that he is personally overseeing the Stovall program to ensure the Joint Strike Fighter program delivers the aircraft our nation requires. Admiral Roughhead, Chief of Naval Operations, said the carrier variant is critical to the Navy's future carrier air wing strike fighter capability and capacity. He stated the Joint Strike Fighter program gives us the advanced sensor, precision strike, firepower, and stealth capabilities that our fleet needs. I've been advised that the restructured Joint Strike Fighter flight test program is significantly ahead of schedule with respect to the number of test flights and test points completed. In particular, the F-35B, the Stovall variant, has exceeded its test point objectives by approximately 75% so far this year. It's already performed more than 100 vertical landings, surpassing the number of vertical landings required for shipboard testing later this fall. I've also been advised that solutions for all identified technical development issues are well understood and in place for implementation. The Joint Strike Fighter is essential to our nation's security and to that of our allies around the world. It's important that the committee takes this opportunity to reinforce its support for this program.
Mr. Young.
Mr. Chairman, Ms. Granger is chairman of the very important subcommittee on foreign operations. But her real important job is as a member of the Defense Subcommittee and makes a very strong contribution to all of the work of that subcommittee. And she and I have discussed this at length. Mr. Dix and I have discussed it with each other and with Ms. Granger. And we agree that the truth of the matter is we wish this bill could have afforded to have more Joint Strike Fighters included. But as you know, we're having to reduce by $9 billion. We were just limited in how much we could add. So we agree with the language that she has offered, and we thank her for working with us to come up with language that we could accept. And so we do accept it.
Will the gentleman
Mr. Chairman, in just 1 second, I would add that many of the amendments being offered today, the introducer, the member has worked with us in working out something that we can all agree with. That's very, very helpful. And Ms. Granger certainly did that. Ms. Kepner did that. Others have done that. And Mr. Wolf did that. So, yes, I'm very happy to yield to Mr. Dix.
Well, we, too, want to accept this amendment. The Joint Strike Fighter last year was a program that had some difficulty. There's no question about that. But this year, they have really turned the corner. And they turned the corner, but the problem is the budget was submitted months ago and didn't have this new information. And as Congresswoman Granger said, the Joint Strike Fighter 35B, that airplane is now doing very, very well. I saw some film of it, comparing it with the Harrier at the same time in development, and it's just like it was completely superior in every respect. And this is the Marine Corps' #1 priority. I just hope that somewhere through in the process we could increase this somehow, if we can get the other body to agree with us, because this program is, and the point of it is, if we could get more planes into the program, the cost comes down. And we have all these allies that are involved in this program. So you know, I wish we could do more, but I support strongly the report language. And also, I hope that the administration can clarify this position of saying that this program, the 35B, is on probation. We have never been, we looked through the FAR, we've never been found the program that's been on probation line. And so hopefully we can get that straight and get that cloud cleared from this program and move forward. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, I'd just like to add one thing. I've always been a very strong supporter of technology, especially for aviation. It goes back to the first year I served in this Congress. I was on the Armed Services Committee, which is a great committee to serve on. And I remember this tremendously impressive Marine told me, he says, your Marines will go anywhere, will fight anybody, will invade, will go to the beaches, will go to the jungles, will go to the mountains, will go anywhere. Just promise me that you, as a congressman, will do everything you can to make sure that when we do fight, the airplanes that are circling overhead belong to us and not the enemy. And that's a commitment that I made long ago, and I've tried to keep that commitment, and what Ms. Granger suggests here today is helping to keep that commitment, and I thank you very much.
Well, the gentleman yield just for one brief comment.
Yes,
on what you said. You reminded me of something. We went through a very major controversy here in the Congress on the Osprey,
Yes, we did.
B-22, and Congress insisted that this plane be built. And we, on our recent trip, we found that the Osprey was used, to bring Osama bin Laden out and take it to the carrier, but also was used in Iraq in Libya to save the troops that went down in the F-15. So sometimes the Congress has to step in and give some direction to the Pentagon on these issues because we have a lot of experience up here. I yield back.
Thank you. I yield back, Mr. Chairman.